Hey, I love today. So we are talking about the prosperity mindset. We are specifically talking about prosperity mindset as it applies to the 12-week year. And so today's concept I'm going to go over is the difference between the road between this foundational conversation and the prize of your life, right? Most people are trying to get to this prize in their life. That's why they're doing the 12-week year. So what I want you to think about is when you're early in the stages of doing the 12-week year is you are often coming up against the fact that you are short on foundational goals. And those foundational goals are the things, and I kind of do foundational equals vital. So if this is vital energy, it is things that have to be done like a preliminary. It is sometimes the archetype of that. What's the thing that has to be in a superhero? Is there has to be some sort of fire energy, right? There has to be some sort of energy to move forward. So when you start to look at foundational, it can be the things that are needed. It is the launch pad of stable flight. So that's the first thing that you need in your life. And so for many people, they are end up having this outside goal, but what they really needed were these very foundational elements. So if you're trying to lose weight, the foundational element would be to weigh yourself, because you'd have to know that, right? That's a preliminary step. So a lot of times people are looking at these goals, what they're really putting in a weight loss goal are these foundational elements where they are tracking food, they're paying attention, they're looking at emotions, they're doing a lot of other work that isn't about let me get this many steps in. So when you start to look at the foundational goals that you're looking at, remember that they are preparatory. They're preparatory for something else. So what is the something else? So right now, meal prep may be just learning how to do that. That's very much um, a base tactic, right? To go, I'm going to meal plan. But meal plan isn't just meal plan, right? It means that I need a set of recipes, that I need a set of ingredients, that I have a grocery list, that I need a cooking time. So when people go, oh, I'm going to meal prep, that list is 10 things long, because you have to activate many plans to be able to do that. So we have to look at a foundational system that allows you to be able to do meal prep. And what we found is that that is a time of day, right? That on Sundays they're just going to cook and they're going to do their grocery shopping, or they're going to, look at those things, or they're going to do it as a family activity, right? There has to be these launch pad ideas and places and actions that get them to this other big deal. If you think about Sunday supper, that a lot of that was done, right? That Sunday supper, everyone used to be in the kitchen, that they would all cook together, that they would make this huge meal. But the benefit of that is that there would be meals left over and that you could take some home and that everybody had a meal for later. But many times you saw somebody cook a pie and that pie was for the whole week, or they had cake left over or whatever. But by the time Sunday came along, there's a fresh batch. So this is a foundational item. So if you are looking at your goals, I would think about what's the original piece, what's the earliest version that has to happen. When we think about that, it's like what's in the basement, right? So when I look at foundational goals around business, around any big thing that you have that has a financial attribute to it, that I go, okay, well, tell me what's in the basement. And what that means is in the basement of a house, right? In the basement is the water systems, is the usually the laundry, it's usually the electrical box, it's usually the heating and cooling system, right? It's all the hardware that makes the rest of the house work. It's in the basement. So that's the question you can ask for yourself is, right, what are the things that are forged, right? Foundational is forged. It's these are the strength, these are the forged things in the basement that are long lasting, because we're trying to get to the prize in our life. And the prize in our life is the gift of energy, right? It is, again, it's kind of these five things added up, right? It's agency, right? That I feel that I'm well enough. I feel well enough to move forward. right? Agency. That is the first part. Then we're trying to put it into our value system. Many of you have done values work. Okay, so I have energy to move forward. Now what's the right? What's the door I'm willing to move forward? What are those values? This is how I move. This is the doors that I only go through. So if you value humor, you're going to look at something that's a little bit more fun. Uh, mm, 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 mm. Uh, so then we go to magnify, right? Once we're clear that we have the energy to move forward, and then we understand the values of why we're moving forward, then we'll start to magnify. And what ends up with magnifying is then because we've added up these foundational vital items, right? And here's the prosperity part, right? Once we've identified those first 3 points that we can magnify, what happens in number 4 is fulfillment, because it's working the way that our very much fundamental self finds vital. Our fundamental self is being rewarded, and that makes it easier to relaunch again, right? Because once we're on the relaunch of, once we're on the pad of stability, it's easier to relaunch. And so then we have number 5, which is sustainable, that we have to pick things that are sustainable. One of the things that I like about agency, value, magnification, fulfillment, and sustainable is by the time if I get those first 3 in place, I will feel fulfilled. And if I don't feel fulfilled, I get to go back and look at those top 3 that I have to go, okay, do I not have enough energy? Do I not know my values? Is this not actually fulfilling my values? What are my values, right? So you get to ask a bunch of questions of yourself and start to magnify out. And if you are not feeling fulfilled, go back. It's very simple. It's just a 5-step piece. But that foundational part for you is what you learn in doing the 12-week year. It is what you learn by doing and looking at the earliest versions of tasks that lead to goals. And that part is the jackpot, right? It's hard to think that these little coins that I'm about to put into that machine are what's going to make a jackpot, but that is what it is, right? That is, you have to have the agency, you have to have the desire to put that coin in that machine. You have to have that. It has to be a machine that you are finding appropriate, and you have to be able to pull that handle consistently to make sure that there is perhaps a way for you to get to your own jackpot. So remember, what are you doing? You are looking for the prize in your life, and that prize is uniquely yours. Nobody else gets to do that. The embodiment of you is you, and that is to be able to have an enormous amount of gratification because your foundation is stable. Your foundation is vital to who you are. And so if you are really moving around in who you are because you're growing, be gentle, be generous, be thoughtful, because having the gift of energy to move forward is the gift. That's the gift. So if you feel that you have agency for change, then please do it. It's great. It is something that is giving you a message. And that part is, the lifeblood of, greatness, right? It's the lifeblood. So here we are in this group, right? How do we go from foundational to the prize of your life? It always starts in foundational because foundational is vital. It's vital. So look at that question for yourself, right? What's in the basement? What are the pieces that are forged and there to last a long time? What is that kind of, what are the things in my life right now that are the launch pad to my own stability? So that might be a job, that might be cash flow, that might be housing, that might be whatever. Look at what is foundational and look at how many things that are foundational that are supportive and loving, and look at what they are. Start to understand what they are and how they use that. And then apply it to your values and then magnify from there, take a measurement to see, are you being fulfilled by that action or not? And then right? If it's not fulfilling, go back to your values or to the action, and go, let me try it a different way. And then what will happen is once you hit that fulfillment section, once you go, this is so fulfilling, the sustainable factor, which is number 5, the sustainability will automatically do itself because once it's fulfilling, you know what it feels like. It's in the right position and it's easy to hold. Sustainability is easy to hold. Most people don't wobble off of their launch pad um, in for long. They don't like it. So if you are someone that likes your bills paid, you always like your bills paid. If you are somebody who likes to be able to run a mile, you always want to run a mile. So that part of what is the foundational parts of you, there's a lot because you're complex, and that's part of why you're fabulous. So thank you so much for being here. I'm glad we had the time together. It is always, 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 always lovely to see you. So thank you for showing up, and I will see you soon. Bye.